Sports Bay Area Report. My name is Rady, and today we will be doing a 2026 draft recap, and we'll be also exploring on the picks how how they impact the team and what they're gonna do in the next draft. And we'll also look at what the 49ers have done through on their two trade downs and see if that was the right decision. So let's get to it. With the first pick for the Raiders, Fernando Mendoza out of the Raiders. I think this is a really good trade. It's a good pickup. Everyone knows this was gonna happen, to be truthful, but it's pretty interesting. I feel like for this situation, I feel like Kirk Cousins is gonna start, and I know people would love to see Fernando Mendoza, but I think it's gonna be what the Falcons did with Kirk Cousins earlier. They're just gonna have him start early, just for a little bit, and then he's just gonna like get benched, and then Mendoza's gonna come in, and then for the second year, then we're gonna see Mendoza action for like the second year, and then for the third year, that's when we're gonna see Mendoza blossom. So overall, I think this is gonna be a great pick overall. They still need so they already selected a quarterback. Now they need a receiver. I think there are a lot of good receivers later on coming up in the draft, along with offensive line, D line, and CB. Next is the New York Jets, as they have had three picks. Let's talk about David Bailey first. David Bailey, I think that's an interesting pickup. I think it's going to be a really good pickup for the Jets, having him and Will McDonald dominate. I think you need a defensive tackle later in the next draft. I think it's a good idea to have him to be able to have a lot of pressure um against opposing offensive lines, having getting pressure on the QB. I think it's a great move to fight to make this good pick. The next pick that the Jets had, or actually, I'll get to the Jets picks later. Next is Jeremiah Love. This one was interesting. We have back to back interesting picks. Cardinals selecting Jeremiah Love. It's just interesting because they have James Conner, they have Trey Benson, they have Tyler Algier, and then so like it's very interesting to see that the Cardinals selected a running back because I thought he was gonna be with the Commanders or the Titans. I always imagined that. But hey, I mean I don't not like it. I guess I could see why. Maybe they don't believe in Trey Benson as that full starter or Tyler Algier. I agree with Tyler Algier. I think he's just gonna be that RB2 backup for the Cardinals, but I just don't understand why they picked running back. But he is a good player, and he's a great player all around. Um, is kind of close to Saquon Barkley for 20 plus yards, so that is kind of pretty impressive. Next pick was Cardell Tate from the Tennessee Titans. It's an interesting pick because they have Iligan Manor, Kamir Dyke, Calvin Ridley. Like it's just like they have so many good. Gunnar Helm is also another weapon. Like there's just so many weapons there. But I think maybe a lot of those draft picks are just question marks. Kamir Dyke might be a question mark. Iligan Manor might be a question mark. So maybe they want a legit wide receiver too. Maybe Iligan Manor could just go back in the slot. So it's an interesting pick, but I'm not gonna not like it. Next for the New York Giants at number 5, Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. I like Arvell Reese. He is listed at an edge here, but I feel like he's 20 years old, but I like him as being like a linebacker a little bit. But hey, if he could be an edge, like I think maybe they'll just experiment him at edge just a little, and then if he doesn't turn out well on that, then he'll move the defensive tackle, in my view. Next for the Chiefs, Mansoor Delane, 5'11", good quarterback, not a bad pick. I think they needed quarterback overall. I think this is a great pickup for the Chiefs, even though the Niners are facing them, and I really don't like that. Next is Sony Styles out of Ohio State. This guy is supposed to be the next Fred Warner, and I can kind of see it. I mean, really good linebacker, good at coverage, good at on line to line, stops the run really well. I could see why he's compared to Fred Warner so much, and I can see the comparison. I think he has a bright future along. He reminds me of Bobby Wagner a little, telling for the from his face. So I like this pick for the Commanders. Saints pick up Jordan Tyson, good receiver. I think he just needs to. He's gonna be a great receiver. I don't know if he's gonna be that receiver one. He could be possibly. He could be just a receiver two, since Chris Olave is still on the team. But I think this is a great pickup. It is kind of a bit concerning because Tyson is kind of similar to Olave. Like injured receivers, Olave was injured, Tyson's now injured, so those two receivers need to stay healthy. If those two can just stay healthy for Tyler Shaw, then I think this Saints offense might be dangerous for other teams. Number 10 for the New York Giants, they have two picks. Francis Maui Goa. I'm not I think this is a great pickup, especially for you could tell from John Harbaugh, this is a John Harbaugh offensive lineman. I think moving him at maybe right tackle or right guard, but according to Mel Kiper, he thinks that he's going to be a right tackle for the future. So, and they need a right tackle, so not going to hate this pick. Next is Caleb Downs, which is kind of a confusing pick because they have Jalen Thompson, they have Malik Hooker, they have PJ Locke, who isn't a bad safety. So it is a bit confusing on why they selected a safety. Maybe this is because Malik Hooker might get moved for the Cowboys. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just a little bit strange to see them draft a safety. But overall, he's not a bad player. Good at run defense, good at coverage. I think he just needs to fix his coverage up just a little. He kind of gets confused just a little from his highlights. But overall, not a bad pickup for the Cowboys, I guess. A really underrated player, and I think one of the steals of the draft. Number 12, Caden Proctor out of Alabama to the Miami Dolphins. I think they needed this because I think you need like a big offensive lineman who can be able to help your running back, especially since you have Devon Achane. I think this will help this team, and I think he'll help in pass protection. This one was I was shocked on this. Ty Simpson, quarterback Alabama, to the Los Angeles Rams. I thought he was going to go to the Arizona Cardinals later in like 34, I think, because they have the 34th pick. But he goes to the Los Angeles Rams, and I think they're planning to move on from Stafford like next year, and then he'll be there for that. So, but interesting pick overall. Ilovana Ioni, that was the right move. Left guard, really good player. Mahler at the run defense on the run game, very perfect pick. The other left guard, don't even know his name. Don't even know his name. 15, Ruben Bain Jr., really good edge. Is supposed to be a boomer bust, but I think if he's in the right system and can somehow be clean up stuff in his game, I think he could possibly not be a bust anymore if he could just clean something up and is in the right system. Next are the New York Jets with their second first round pick, Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. I like Sadiq. He's compared to George Kittle, athletic, is going to be have vertical. One of the best tight ends, really good in the combine, and is a legit beast. I think he's gonna be a good player with Adonai Mitchell and Garrett Wilson, and then another receiver, which we're gonna get it to later. I think this will be a great good options for the quarterback, which is Geno Smith. Um even though and that's the same guy saying that Geno Smith is gonna take them to the Highlands. I don't even know what that means, to be truthful with you guys. But next, Blake Miller to the Detroit Lions, Clemson at right tackle. It's kind of a confusing pick because I'm not so sure how that is going to help because you have Penei Sewell at right tackle, but maybe they'll find a way. Caleb Banks for the Vikings. I like this pick. I think Caleb Banks is gonna feel that gonna be that good pass rusher. He does have surgery. He did have surgery on his ankle, so that is a bit of an issue. But they did check on him and they said that he was fine. So I guess I guess he'll be a great player. Monroe Freeling out of Georgia. I like this guy. I think this guy is one of the best left tackles on in this draft. I think he's gonna be a great player. I think there is a left tackle as Rasheed Walker is with the Panthers now, but I think if you move the left guard, a 6'6" left guard, oh that is just nasty in my view. Next at 20, Makai Lemon. This guy's going to be the next Devontae Smith because we all know AJ Brown's going to get traded. He's not going to get traded during the draft, but he is going to get traded when the after the draft or post June 1st. So just keep that in mind. So that means Makai Lemon and Devontae Smith are going to be the next two elite receivers with Goddard. I think they signed Goddard back. So it'll be an interesting thing. I don't know if they're going to add another receiver later on in the draft, but they probably could. So we'll see. Next is Max Heineker. Really good right tackle. I think he's going to be a great player. Don't know how he's going to fit into that offensive line because left guard is the only need, but maybe he could find his way into switch him. They could find a way to switch him to left guard. We'll have to see how that goes. But interesting pick by the Steelers. Next is Akeem Messidor out of edge. I like this guy overall. He's 25 years old, though. It's instinctive, high effort. He strings moves together. He's a problem. He could like move inside. So he's kind of like a Yatur. He also has injury history, kind of. So that kind of explains why he's a 22. Like if he was younger and did had injury histories, then at his age, then he would have probably been picked up probably 5 if the Giants like selected him probably. So next is Malachi Lawrence. I love this guy, and I really wish the 49ers would have drafted him, but Cowboys got to him first, and that really hurt. That really hurt my heart, but that's okay. I mean he's a good player. He's similar to DeMarcus Lawrence, which actually is kind of funny because they're the same height, same almost same weight, and the same style as DeMarcus Lawrence. So it's kind of very similar. That's really crazy. Casey Concepcion to the Cleveland Browns. I really thought Omar Cooper Jr. was gonna get drafted with the Browns because with the Browns, their receiver cores are just tough. They're like tough receivers. They know how to get open. They're third down guys. Like Jerry Judy's kind of that third down guy. Cedric Tillman is, but Casey Concepcion, fast guy, 5'11", can drop balls a little bit, but if he could just fix that, kind of, if he could just fix that and Shador could just like soften that football, kind of just like further his throws, then I think it could work out. Next on pick 25, Dylan Diamond is going to the Chicago Bears. This guy is probably gonna be next to Kobe Bryant, as they picked up last in free agency, who's gonna be that safety who's gonna pick people off. So I think this is a great pickup. I think he's a physical safety, and that's what you need with the Bears because Quad Brisker was like that, but he left. So this is a great replacement for him. Caleb Rutledge, this guy was supposed to be the first target for the 49ers, as this was actually the first guard who was actually selected in the first round. Great guard, is really good at run game. Pass blocking is a bit of a struggle for him. Hands are kind of an issue. He gets pushed around by quick defensive tackles, which I guess that makes sense. I mean, they are kind of a bit quick, so as long as he cleans some of that up, I think this is a great pickup for that. So he'll probably be either a right guard or left guard. I don't know what the status is for Houston right now, but we'll see. Um, the first trade for like SF is to Miami, and Miami selected Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. I love Chris Johnson. In my view, I think he is way better than Mansour Delane. Just physical, 6 foot, great player. This guy is probably my number one quarterback in this draft class. I think he's a great player, and I think he is gonna be just a good starter for this team. 28, Caleb Lomu out of Utah. I think this guy was mocked for the Niners so many times, but he is going to the New England Patriots, and I think this is a bit curious because they have Will Campbell and they already have their starting left guard. So I'm curious that are they gonna move on from their left guard veteran or are they not confident in Will Campbell? So that will be an interesting story to see on how the Patriots figure this out. I am kind of curious on what this is about though. So we'll just see how this goes. Next, 29, Peter Woods. I think this will be a great compliment to Chris Jones. Could be the next replacement for him since he is a bit of a pass rusher, young. He has good lower body, has clear upside, potential to be even a solid starter. So, not a bad pick. Next, for the last pick for the New York Jets, Omar Cooper Jr. Good player, good at RPOs, was one of the biggest heroes for the Indiana Hoosiers. So this guy is a great player. I really love this guy. I mean, I was thinking about selecting him, but I feel like receiver isn't the biggest need for the Niners, and I think there are more needs for that. So, but great player for them. I think it's gonna work very well with Sadiq, Donnie Mitchell, Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper Jr. I think Brees Hall, like that's good receive. That's like good options for Gino, even though Gino Smith isn't exactly that good. Except Aaron Glenn says that he's gonna take him to the Super Bowl, which is have you not seen the stats or his highlights earlier from last season? But okay, sure, whatever. But next, Tennessee 31, Keldrick Folk. I like Keldrick Folk. Really long, lengthy, good at pass rush. Needs some cleanup at the run game. Has a struggling time at wrapping up tackles, but I think he can fix that up just a little. I like Keldrick Folk. Good player overall. 6'5", 270. Has good long arms, but has high seal. Needs to be polished just a little. His rushes, his upfield burst, he might require a move on inside on passing downs where his long levers and quickness can agility can outmatch guards, which makes sense because when you need a defensive tackle, you usually have need to have long arms to like, you know, um outmatch those guards. So I wouldn't mind that. And then for 32, um the for 32, the Seahawks got Jadarian Price. So this is um the second running back behind Jeremiah Love here from Notre Dame. So I'm kind of really interested in this pick. I thought they were gonna pick up a quarterback, but telling from the prospects that were undrafted, I could see why they didn't pick because you have Avion Terrell, Colton Hood, you have so many other CBs. Like, I need to change this into CBs. Here you have Jamar McCoy, Avion Terrell, Colton Hood, D'Angelo Paz, Brandon Cease, Keontae Scott, Malik Muhammad, Keith Abney, a featured Price Stock, Decario Davis, Will Lee, Dalen Everett, Chandler Rivers. So I could see why they didn't select quarterback, and I think they do need a running back, especially now that Zach Charbonnet is not there anymore. So it actually makes a lot of sense for this team. 5'10", 5'8", 203 pounds. His talent as a runner should make him an excellent commentary back. So I don't know if he's going to be a full-time starter, but who knows? Maybe they could be able to get him there. I don't know about Brian Fleury, though. He is the offensive coordinator. But as for the 49ers, the 49ers have traded their picks back to they have traded their picks to the New York Jets. They have traded the with the Jets for the Jets, the Houston Texans. They have also traded with the Jets and Dolphins. So I think the Niners they chose very right because as you can see here for the prospects, you have a lot of people. You have Denzel Boss like they need O line, edge, receiver, D line, and safety. So for like O line, let's see here. Like for like guard, you have Pregnon, Bazantes, Jennings, Dunker, Farber, Stevens, Harkey is still there too. Campbell, Billy Scroff, Logan Taylor, like those are good players. Offensive tackle, you have Caleb Tiernan, Keegan Tross, Demetrius Croner, Jude Bowery, Drew Shelton, Cage Casey, even though he's actually a guard, actually. Markel Bell, Travis Berkey, Austin Barber, Carver Willis, good player. And for a receiver, you have Denzel Boston. That is my favorite player. Chris Brazzell, Skylar Bell, Jeremy Bernard, Stribling, Malachi Fields, Antonio Williams, Lane, Surratt, Cyrus, Bryce Lance. I don't know on that one though because I don't want to take my chances on that. But D-Lot for safety, and then for safety you have. I'm trying to look for it. Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Jalen Kilgore, Halasi, Bud Clark, my favorite. Traded Stukes is a safety, I guess. I mean, I would like him as a quarterback, but safety. VJ Payne, Ramsey, Bishop, Robert Spears Jennings, Genesis Smith, Skylar Thomas, who they also met. So there are a lot of good players later on. But in my view, I think they are going to select the edge position. We have Zion Young, Cassius Howe, Gabe Jasis, Derek Moore, TJ Parker, Jay Sean Barham. It's either that or guard here because I would like Pregnon. I wouldn't mind Pregnon on this, where he's a good player and is going to be immediate run blocking. Chase Pazantis is also not bad. Jennings Dunker is a bad pick to go for. I feel like so for like because for like drafting, I feel like they're gonna go guard. They're gonna go edge later, so they could like get Derek Moore, Parker, Barham, Joshua Joseph, Sutton, Romello Height later on in that 58th pick, and then for the 90th pick, you could get for a receiver because I feel like they are gonna select that. And to be truthful with you, Surratt is one, Bryce Lance, Lane, Antonio Williams, Stribling is there. So I feel like those guys are possibly going to get picked up. So I wouldn't mind that. And then for the later picks, so like I got guard, so guard is probably going to be the first one. Edge is probably going to be the next one. Receiver is going to be the next one. Safety is probably the next one after that. Probably a defensive tackle is probably next, a tight end, and then finally for 79, this one's actually a bit hard, but probably a running back just because to complement Christian McCaffrey. So I wouldn't mind any of that. I think the Niners they did the right decision. They made the right move, and I think they're gonna do very great in these next rounds. And also I will be live I will be live streaming for the picks for second and third round tomorrow. So, but that is it for now. This is ready from this Sports Bay Area report.